Good evening, everyone. My name is Elizabeth, the Education Coordinator for Marlene's Market and Deli. Tonight's special guest that we have with us, and it's always an honor to work with, we have Dr. Glen Depke. He is the educator for Dr. Mercola and a traditional naturopath, and he's speaking on the topic of feel better, think better, supporting your gut health. Thank you so much, Dr. Debke, for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure to be here. And thank you, Elizabeth, to you, first off, for coordinating all this so well and making this so seamless on my end. And also thank you to Marlene's giving me the opportunity to, reach out to your customers and just share, bits of knowledge that can actually make a big difference in what Dr. Mercola always refers to as taking control of your health. So with today, we're going to talk about we're going to get into a combination of, how to really create a healthy environment and supporting your colon health and understanding on how when you support what's going on with your gut immunity and your brain health all collectively, because it is all really interconnected. So we're going to get into a bit of what you would do to support like a natural detoxification effect because of the environment we live in, and also how important your overall colon and gut health is. Again, not just for your colon and gut, but also for immunity and brain health, and even the role that it plays in natural detoxification processes as well. Now, before we get going into today's information, I always like to bring up one thing that really most people don't know about Dr. Mercola is that anytime you go into Marlene's and you buy a Dr. Mercola product, it's not only just to really help support some level of health for yourself. Also, everything you buy, 25% of the net proceeds that the company makes goes right back to advocacy. So it's the education that Dr. Mercola offers on a regular basis, whether this be tied into really the right to know genetically engineered GMO foods. Couldn't get that one out for some reason, or non-GMO support, or anti-fluoridation, or even the elimination of mercury, and literally the list goes on, because it's always been Dr. Mercola's mission to really provide education, and even encourages you to get education from every avenue you can, put together that information, and as I mentioned earlier, then take control of your health. So let's get right into the information today. And right before that, just a little bit about myself. And as was mentioned by Elizabeth, I am the national educator for Dr. Mercola. I've also been blessed to play many different roles with Dr. Mercola in the past. I used to work with him in his clinic in the Chicagoland area from 2004 to 2008. I played different roles there. I played a role on a nutrition team, eventually became his chief nutritionist. I've played a role in his EFT team, which is emotional release. I've had the pleasure of being his wellness director, and even played early roles in program and product development through the years. And now for the last I don't know, 7, 8+ years, I've been educating for Dr. Mercola as well. And on top of that, I do have a private practice. My private practice is in Yorba Linda, California, which is in Orange County, California. And I've been in private practice since 2001, so more than 23 years now. And just like Dr. Mercola, I'm really all about education. Now, today we're going to talk about environmental support and colon health. We're going to really focus on four significant areas. We're going to talk first about your fundamentals of health. We're going to talk about natural detoxification support. We're going to talk about colon support and then overall immune support as well. And the first aspect is tied into your fundamentals of health. Now, I always love this picture of the house, like that stick house we all learned to draw when we were maybe 2 or 3 years old. And really that house, what I always like to do is to bring up an analogy. I always say that let's compare building a house to building your health. Now, if you're building a house, you would understand you'd need fundamentals to build that house. You'd need things like lumber, bricks, drywall, nails, roofing and such, concrete, all these different things to build a house. Now, to build your health, you also would have fundamentals, and that's the list that we're going to go through here. And I really put them also in matter of priority in your body. And it's kind of interesting from the perspective of there is a priority, a hierarchy of this, but they all have sounds a little different. They have a hierarchy of priority, but they're all equally as important, if that makes sense, because the fundamentals are the simple things that we all need to do to maintain the best level of health possible. Yeah, so the first area is with deep breathing, and it's the air you breathe. Basically what we're talking about here is a simple fact that when you take in a breath of air, you're exposing approximately 1/4 of your blood to the oxygen in that breath. And it only takes about 4 to 5 seconds for that 1/4 of blood to be dispersed throughout your body to oxygenate the cells in your body. And the challenge here is that, a lot of people might think, well, I'm living, so I'm breathing, so I'm probably good with that, right? And the answer is no, because most people simply breathe to survive rather than breathing to thrive. So to understand the difference of that, breathing to survive is breathing short and shallow. How unfortunately most people in our culture breathe. Most people are only using maybe 20% of the lung capacity, and they're really restricting the amount of oxygen they're delivering to the cells on a regular basis. So a great habit to create for yourself is every hour through your day, take about 3 or 5 really good deep belly breaths, breathing in through your nose for about a count of 7, holding that breath for about a count of 8, and then exhaling that breath, or I'm sorry, holding your breath for about a count of 4, and then exhaling that breath forcefully through your mouth for about a count of 8. And when you do that, you're going to use a higher capacity of your lungs, and you're going to be able to drive more oxygen naturally to the cells of your body, which is the number one most important aspect of your fundamentals. And later on, I'm going to tell you another benefit besides for the oxygen that you're going to get from the deep breathing on a regular basis. Now, your second fundamental of health is proper hydration. Now, when we're talking about proper hydration, the simple fact is what I've recognized through the years of working with clients in my practice is most people are living a life dehydrated on a regular basis. And, a good rule of thumb that I always talk about is drinking approximately 1 quart of water for about every 50 pounds of body weight on a regular daily basis. So as an example, myself, I'm a 200-pound man, and my goal every day is to drink a gallon of water, and most of the time I reach it or I come pretty close to that. But I also want to make it known that it's not that strict to know, because everybody's a little bit different. Some people have different exercise routines, some people don't exercise, and different people will process their water differently. So you really want to pay attention to individually. If you're following this general recommendation about 1 quart of water for every 50 pounds of body weight, then you want to pay attention to the color of your urine. You don't want it to be coming out clear, because if your urine is clear on a consistent basis, you're overhydrated and you could be wasting away some of your beneficial electrolyte minerals. Yet if your urine is coming out like orange or like a bright yellow, well, then you know you're dehydrated. So you really want just a very slight tinge of yellow to your urine to know that you're properly hydrated. And I'll give you little tidbits in here too that tie into colon health as well as natural detoxification support. When you're properly hydrated, that plays a big role in moving your colon, because when you're dehydrated, the contents is how this should happen is the contents in your small intestine should move into your colon as a liquid. And if you're dehydrated, the contents of your small intestines could be moving into the colon as more of a solid. Now, when it moves in properly as a liquid, as the contents are going through your colon, your colon absorbs that liquid, and then you end up with the bulk at the end, which is what you refer to as your bowel movement. But what happens though is if you're dehydrated and the contents are moving through into your colon from your small intestines without the liquid, it just makes it that much harder to move the contents through your colon. Now, the other aspect of proper hydration, it ties directly into this talk, is when you're properly hydrated, you're regularly filtering through your kidneys and processing through your urinary tract and your bladder. And so when your kidneys are working to get rid of toxins, you want that cleansing of the kidneys on a regular basis. And also, when we think about your colon health, let's recognize that your liver, which is your body's primary organ of detoxification, your liver uses your colon and your bowel movements to release toxins. So if you're leaving your colon congested and you're not having proper bowel movements and moving your colon adequately, which I would define as twice per day or more, then you're basically creating a scenario where you could be reabsorbing toxins through your colon walls. So proper hydration plays a big role, not only in obviously just hydrating the cells in your body, also a big role in natural detoxification processes and movement of your colon. Then the third fundamental of nutrition, you have to actually supply your cells with proper nutrition, your macronutrients, your micronutrients, and so much more. Yeah, and with this, the thing that I just, because this is not a talk solely on nutrition, but some really good fundamental understandings with nutrition is whenever you eat, really make a concerted effort to get a small to moderate amount of protein, a healthy amount of vegetables, and also some good quality fats. And I would consider, the better quality fats, some derivative of olives, coconut, or avocado, are really good healthy fatty nuts like macadamia nuts, as an example. And making sure that on a regular basis you're getting all of those macronutrients because your body needs protein. Your body can only save protein for 24 hours. So if you don't get protein every 24 hours, your body will start to rob your muscular system for protein. And then you want to get the carbs through your vegetables because the carbs are actually, they're going to play a role in what's going on with glucose, and your brain is very dependent on glucose to function properly. And you want those good, healthy fats because fat is essential for your brain health. It's essential for what's going on hormonally in your body in so many different levels. So really work to achieve that on a consistent basis. And as we're going to talk too about your colon health and overall your gut health today, recognize that you really also want to optimize what's going on with your digestive system to really enjoy kind of the fruits of your labor with what you're doing nutritionally. Because you've all heard the saying 1,000 times, if not once, that you are what you eat. And that's been a lie ever since you've heard it. You're not what you eat, you're what you absorb and you assimilate. So you really want to optimize digestion. I know after nutrition is sleep. From a sleep perspective, we need to get a good, healthy night's sleep on a consistent basis. Now, to define that, that's typically about 8 hours of sleep. Some people can get a little bit less, some people need a little bit more. The optimal time to wake up in the day is about the time the sun comes up. And then the optimal time to go to sleep would be subtracting approximately 8 hours from there. And when we define a healthy sleep pattern, that means you would lay your head down at night, you would fall asleep relatively quickly. You would get into a good deep sleep that would last until the time you get up, or maybe occasionally you might get up once to use the restroom, and but when you go back to bed, you would lay your head down and you would fall asleep very quickly. Now, why this plays a big role in what we're talking about, not just in fundamentals, but also for the health of your colon and then also healthy detoxification, it's simply tied into the fact that when you get a good quality night's sleep, that's the prime time of support from your immune system. That's when your body does most of its maintenance and repair. So a good healthy night's sleep goes a long way in achieving health on every level, and specifically what we're talking about today. Now, the other aspect that's important is then movement. Now, movement, of course, does tie into exercise because our bodies very simply are designed to move. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to join a gym or you have to take classes or you have to work out like a fiend for 2 hours straight until you're perspiring from every single pore in your body. It's just to recognize your body is designed to move. And this could be quite simple. It could be as simple as, taking a good walk on a regular daily basis. It could be It could be even something such as like working in your garden during the summertime, or just anything that's to incorporating movement into your body. It could be going out and having fun dancing or playing a game or walking the golf course. Like there's many different things that you can actually attest to this. But the biggest thing is just to recognize that you want to move your body on a consistent basis. And the importance of that is because when you move your body, movement of your body supports a healthy autonomic nervous system, which is the master regulator of everything. So moving your body is a key component of that. And you know your life better than I do. If you're sitting at a desk all day in front of a computer and then you get home and you don't move from the table or the couch that often, you've got to get movement into your daily routine because, again, that's what's going to support a healthy autonomic nervous system. I know on top of that with movement, the second part of movement ties directly into today's talk is movement of your colon. Yeah, because you really you want to think about it from the perspective of how important colon health is to your overall health. And a big part of colon health is how you're moving your colon. It's a question I ask every single client I've worked with through the last 23 plus years is, and I always ask this in the first session is, how often do you have a bowel movement during the day? Do you have two or more per day, one per day, or less than one per day? And a lot of people think that one bowel movement per day is healthy, but one bowel movement per day, in my opinion, is still considered constipation. You really would like to at least achieve two healthy bowel movements per day, having your most significant bowel movement and primary bowel movement in the morning, and another bowel movement in the late afternoon or early evening. And when you can achieve that, you can be much more confident that you're emptying the contents of your colon on a regular daily basis. Yes, so that's a second part of movement. And the third part of movement is tied into the movement of your vertebrae. Now, professionally, I'm not a chiropractor, but I support quality chiropractic care because it's very important to have the correct alignment of your vertebrae because it does have an effect on your nervous system. So the third part of movement is really tied into the movement of your vertebrae. I now your last of the fundamentals in regard to building the house is your exposure to sun. Now, this is something that Dr. Mercola has talked about for years, is that we really do, sun exposure and healthy sun exposure. The key word with sun exposure is healthy. Healthy sun exposure is an important part of our fundamentals of health. And to define healthy sun exposure is getting enough sun exposure to potentially convert the sunlight into vitamin D, to also play an important impact on balance of hormones in the body, also important for metabolism, and also important for setting up a healthy sleep cycle. Well, healthy sun exposure is different for everybody because we all have different skin tones. Somebody who has a very pale skin tone may need all of 10 minutes of sun exposure to enjoy what they need from the sun. Whereas somebody who has a moderate, like an olive tone skin may need 20, 30 minutes, and somebody who has a darker skin tone may need 40 to 60 minutes. So it's different from one person to another. So it's always important to remember you want to get sun exposure on a daily basis when available. And when you don't have, and when you have that exposure, you want to be careful to never overexpose. You never want to really overexposed to the point where we have sun damage or sunburn, because that would have a negative effect. And remember, this is an important part of your fundamentals of health. Now, all of that is really about, what we're talking about with building the house. But, to realize you build a house on top of a foundation. So what happens if you build a great, big, beautiful house, but you build that on a cracked, crumbled foundation? And if you're guessing right now, well, then that would mean that the whole house would fall down or would crumble, things like that. That's true. So the foundation of the house, I just have the word energy in there, but energy, what I'm meaning by that is this is like an energy that would be like tied into mental, emotional energy or spiritual or vibrational energy. So it's really mostly tied into making sure that you have what are known as healthy stress levels. Now, I didn't say eliminate stress because it always cracks me up when somebody says that because, how do you eliminate stress? I mean, even just living, there's stress of gravity on your body, right? And we all have stress, but the key though is is to learn healthy tools for dealing with your stress and learn healthy tools for releasing your stress. Now, one of the things that's very, very helpful for your stress levels is the first fundamental of health I discussed, which is the deep breathing, because physiologically you cannot deep breathe and be stressed out at the same time. So another great time to do some deep breathing is when you're feeling stressed out, because deep breathing stimulates the parasympathetic response of your nervous system, which is the rest and digest side of your nervous system. Yeah, and also there's multiple different tools you can use when you feel stressed out. You could pray, you could do meditation, you can do yoga, you can deep breathe, as I mentioned. You can do EFT, which is something that's been taught at Dr. Mercola's clinic for all those years. But there's many different tools that you can use. Yet the key is to perceive your stress in a healthy way and to do something to release that stress as it's coming up. And these are all really key components to your fundamentals. And why I always like to bring this up first is because of course, I'm going to share some supplement ideas that you can use for yourself individually. But the big thing that I want you to understand is that for the supplements to have the most significant benefit for you, you have to take care of the simple things. So what I want you to do for yourself is maybe make a mental note, or maybe write on the pad of paper that you have in front of you where you're taking notes of the fundamentals that you feel like you need to work on a consistent basis. So maybe you don't deep breathe during the day and you need to incorporate that. Maybe you're not drinking enough water and you know that you have to start increasing your water. Maybe you've been off on some things nutritionally, or maybe you feel that maybe your digestive system isn't working that great. Or you might recognize that maybe you're going to sleep too late and you're not really getting into the proper sleep cycle, or you're just not feeling rested from your sleep. Those would all be things that would tell you that your sleep cycle isn't really optimal. Or maybe you're not moving your body every day and you can start incorporating, even again, if it's something as simple as walking on a regular basis, and then getting out in the sun and getting a healthy sun exposure, exposing about 50% of your skin that when you're actually out in the sun to really get the benefits that you're looking for. And of course, doing everything you can to minimize the effect of stress on your body and to really perceive it in a much healthier way. Now, from there, I want to talk about different supplement support that you can use for these different areas that we're talking about this evening. The first is a healthy natural detoxification support. Now, with this, you really want to support your liver and more. And remember, your liver is your primary organ of detoxification, but we also want to remember it's not just your liver, it's your kidneys, it's your lymphatic system, it's your skin, and it's also your respiratory system that all play a role in healthy detoxification. Yeah, so one of the things that is such an important aspect tied into healthy detoxification, supporting us naturally, is with fermented chlorella. Chlorella, most people do recognize that this is important for supporting your liver and supporting normal detoxification processes. But a lot of people don't realize how much more chlorella really does. You see, chlorella is one of those superfoods. It helps with not only detoxification, but helps with healthy cellular aging and cell energy production. And I'm going to talk a little bit on why that is the case. Also helps with really a healthy inflammatory response, healthy immune health. It really helps support blood sugar levels already in a normal range. Of course, healthy cognition and liver function, also tied into optimal metabolism and digestive health, and also helping support blood pressure levels already in a normal range. Now, all of that is fantastic. And the one thing that's different with chlorella, like there's all these different superfoods that people are aware of, like spirulina and kelp and so much more. It's all these like sea veggies, right? Now, they are all superfoods, but there's one thing that chlorella has that the other superfoods don't have, and that's what referred to as the acronym of CGF, which is chlorella growth factor. You see, because chlorella growth factor, it has these essential fatty acids and nucleic acids of RNA and DNA, as well as other amino acids. And this is where, to me, this is such an important factor for a healthy cellular aging. I take chlorella on a regular basis because the number one factor is we live in an environment where we're exposed to toxins on a regular basis. I believe everybody should be doing something to help support natural liver function and natural detoxification. But the other reason why I take chlorella on a regular basis is as somebody who's turning 60 in this year of 2024, I want to age as youthfully as possible. So I want those nucleic acids. I want that RNA and DNA from the chlorella growth factor because I want to age again as youthful and as graceful as possible as the years go on. So this plays a role in so much more than just healthy detoxification and liver support. Now, outside of that, another thing that's very important, not only for your liver, but this is definitely with your liver, is NAC with milk thistle. NAC, what I really want to help you understand is NAC is a precursor to what's known as glutathione. Glutathione is your master antioxidant in your body. Your glutathione is so important in your body. Your body can actually produce and recycle glutathione. Now, to achieve this, you need healthy function and also the two primary ingredients for this glutathione production and recycling in your body is NAC and then also L-glycine. Yeah, so now why glutathione is so important, as I mentioned, number one, it's your body's primary antioxidant. When you have adequate levels of glutathione, it also supports every other antioxidant you would take in by food you eat or other supplements you take. So like if you're eating blueberries and taking vitamin C, having healthy glutathione supports those other antioxidants you're getting in. And glutathione does play a big role in your liver function because out of the 5 different levels at which your liver will detoxify, one of them is actually referred to and called glutathione conjugation. So obviously that's very important for your body. Now, outside of this, glutathione also plays an important role in what are referred to as your barrier systems in your body. So that could include supporting your gut barrier system, your lung barrier system, as well as your blood-brain barrier system. So all obviously very important. And of course, we have to remember the body's normal detoxification process. And the other thing I want to bring up with this, the NAC with the milk thistle. So most of what I've been talking about right now is NAC. Milk thistle has been known for literally decades for its supportive effect on your liver function. And this also contains an organic broccoli sprout powder, which is very supportive in assisting your liver in releasing toxins into the into the duct system for eventual release through your colon. And remember though, whatever your liver is releasing is going into your colon. So you want to make sure that you're moving your colon adequately so you're removing these toxins from your body. And then lastly, I want to bring up the grass-fed beef organ complex tied into supporting your liver and healthy detoxification. Because if we think about organ meats, in traditional culture, organ meats were always the delicacy. In our culture, the organ meats are typically the garbage. For a lot of families who, when the holidays come up and you reach into the middle of that turkey to clean it out and you pull out the gizzards and the kidney and the heart and the liver, unfortunately, a lot of people just discard that in the trash can. Yet in traditional cultures, that would be like the delicacy. That would be the gold of the turkey because they knew that that's where the highest nutrient content was. And that's where how you even get the whole full array of the different amino acids from the food that you're eating as well. Now from this perspective, when you're looking at the grass-fed beef organ complex, number one, of course, this is grass-fed. These are from cows that are from New Zealand. They begin their life eating grass, and when they give up their life for our health benefit, they're still eating grass. And there's 5 different organs in here. There's heart, liver, kidneys, pancreas, and spleen. And each of these do support those particular organs. So like the heart supports cardiovascular and mitochondrial health. The liver helps support healthy liver function, metabolism, and energy production. The kidney in here supports healthy normal detoxification processes as well as urinary, kidney, and immune health. The pancreas supports healthy blood sugar signaling as well as digestion and pancreatic health. And then the spleen helps support healthy blood and immune system function. And since now, if you're anything like me, I'm not a big fan of eating organs. Yet I'm a big fan of taking the grass-fed beef organ complex because I know that my body needs the organs. I just don't enjoy them. So I get them from a supplement. And this is what I take on a regular basis, which then does help support the liver detoxification and many other factors that we're talking about today. So then I want to talk specifically about your colon health as well. Yeah, and this is a very important aspect on every level of health as well. And when we're looking at this, the first thing that you really want to make sure that you're using on a regular basis is that you're taking your probiotic. To me, the only person who doesn't need to take a probiotic is somebody who is eating on a daily basis. You're eating raw, naturally fermented foods or drinks on a consistent daily basis. And most people honestly aren't doing that. Or some people think they're getting probiotics but from their food by, like as an example, eating a yogurt that claims to have X amount of probiotics in it, except if it's not raw, if it's been pasteurized, those beneficial bacteria are no longer alive. Yeah, so taking a probiotic is a great way to support your microbiome. And the one thing that I want you to recognize too, with a healthy microbiome and a healthy colon and gut overall, is it really is about balance, and it's about digestion, it's about absorption of nutrients, it's also about immune system health, cellular health, normal allergy responses, and so much more. And the one thing that I want to tell you that's different about the complete probiotic, which is literally this probiotic is a 70 billion CFU, so there's a 70 billion count of beneficial bacteria, and there's 10 different strains of bacteria in here. But the one that is actually referred to as the long-lasting super strain is L. acidophilus DDS1. And it specifically has to be the DDS1 because there are different forms of L. acidophilus. Yet the DDS1 has been shown through research and testing to be the most significant strain to support getting through and reaching the entirety of the gastrointestinal tract, because with the testing and research, it's been shown to be resistant to enzymes, stomach acid, and exposure to bile, which is very important because a lot of the probiotics that you may be taking are destroyed by either enzymes, stomach acid, or bile. And really, out of the 9 other strains, that they're approximately 75% resistant to those as well. But the DDS1 is really the king of the hill on that resistance level. And it really provides the best opportunity to make it through the entirety of the gastrointestinal tract and actually make it into your colon, which is a very, very important part of what we're talking about today. And on top of that DDS1 strain that I'm talking about, this is also what's known as a DR cap, which is a delayed release capsule, which opens up a little bit later in the digestive tract to delay the release and really assist in all of these different beneficial bacteria and getting as far into your gastrointestinal tract as possible. And this is something that, and this is the exact probiotic that I take every day, every morning when I wake up. And that's what I would recommend for you as well to support your microbiome, your colon, and digestive health, as well as many other factors. Now, sometimes people need more than a complete probiotic, though. The complete probiotic is still something that is, to me, like the no-brainer of microbiome support. But I have a good analogy for you. So I don't know if you ever had a garden, but if you have a garden, you want the best results of your garden, you don't just pick a piece of dirt and put a seed in it and then water it and give it sunshine and expect it to be its best. If you're really good with your garden, what you do prior to planting the seed, you till the soil, you add some good healthy fertilizer, you add some other nutrients that you feel your soil may be lacking, and you provide the healthiest soil to now plant the seed. Well, the complete spore restore and the complete probiotic work simultaneously like this. The spore restore is like you being the gardener providing the best foundational soil. And then the complete probiotic is the seed you're putting in the soil. You see, because this complete spore restore is a combination of 4 different soil-based organisms and the mycelium of 3 different mushrooms. And the natural supportive factor of these is really fourfold. Number one, it helps your body better utilize the supportive benefits of the probiotic you're taking. So when you're taking the complete probiotic, the Spore Restore helps support that even deeper. Number two, it helps your body to naturally produce arguably one of the key components, a short chain fatty acid called butyrate, which is essential for a healthy gut lining. Number three, the Spore Restore will help support the natural breakdown of biofilms that could be created for multiple other unhealthy reasons in your gut. And lastly, the mycelium of the three different mushrooms are very supportive for your SIG-A, which is your gut immune response. Recognize that your gastrointestinal tract has its own support all of those levels. So to recognize that the soil-based organisms and the mycelium of the mushroom and the Spore Restore is creating the healthy soil to plant the seed in, and that is the complete probiotic. I know on top of that, there's one other probiotic that I want to bring up, and this is for the deeper challenged individual. So you would know this if this is you. If you're the person who says, I've tried everything to improve my gut. It seems like nothing I do ever works, or this has been a problem for me for decades, or maybe you've been on multiple antibiotics through your life, or maybe you've had in the past a diet high in sugar or simple carbohydrates convert into sugar easily, or maybe you're just stressed out all the time. So that stress has a defining effect on your gut health. Well, the complete afterbiotic is really designed for that. This actually offers you a combination of both probiotics and soil-based organisms and non-spore forming probiotics and even a probiotic yeast that acts as a beneficial bacteria. And really, for the person who has those deeper challenges, what I would recommend is when you wake up in the morning, take a complete probiotic. Before your first meal, take one Spore Restore, and then before bedtime, take a complete after, or not before bedtime, before dinner time, take your complete afterbiotic. That way, you're actually really addressing this and naturally supporting it from multiple ways. The one thing that I always say, the minimum that everybody should be taking, in my opinion, is a probiotic every day. If you want to make the soil healthy for the best utilization of the probiotic, you use the complete Spore Restore. And for those who have even deeper issues with the gut, having that trifecta of the complete probiotic, the complete Spore Restore, and then a complete afterbiotic along with that all go a very, very long way from that perspective. Now, there's one other recommendation I wanted to make here, and I'm giving different recommendations because not everybody has the exact same problem, right? And the last recommendation is for the biothin probiotic. Now, the reason why I'm recommending this here because a major part of what we're talking about today is with your colon health. And what's very, very important for colon health is your bowel regularity. You remember, you really want to have at least two bowel movements every day. Your primary in the morning and another in the late afternoon or early evening. So the biothin probiotic, which is 100% just lactobacillus caseri, it's only 10 billion CFU of one particular probiotic. And really, this is fantastic in supporting healthy bowel regularity. This is even in my clinic, that's the main use that I have for this. Now, on top of that, you get other advantages of this particular probiotic. Yeah, because this will actually help to promote the conversion from the dangerous white visceral fat into healthy brown fat your body can burn for fuel. This also is great for helping support healthy glucose sensitivity and blood glucose levels in a normal range. And when you can, and if you think about this, when you can help with optimizing your digestion, increasing your regularity, converting that dangerous white fat into healthy brown fat that your body can burn, and help to support healthy glucose levels. Well, the other, major advantage of that, then it usually supports a healthy, leaner body mass. Yeah, and the one thing that I want to explain that's different with the biothin, this is not a standalone probiotic for your overall microbiome support. That still goes back into the complete probiotic. The biothin I recommend for those who have really need the support for the bowel regularity. So if you recognize that you're having, one bowel movement per day or less on a consistent basis, and the other things you're doing to support your colon health and your GI health aren't increasing that regularity, the biothin is something you would add to your regimen along with your complete probiotic as well. And I've seen some great results with utilizing that in my clinic, and it's just a great supportive factor, as you could tell, on many different levels. All right, and we want to talk about immune support. Now, the first thing that I'll bring up with the immunity, everything I just talked about with colon health and gut health supports immunity. Because in essence, about 70-80% of your immune system originates in your gastrointestinal tract. So when you can enjoy a healthier gut and a healthier colon, you enjoy a healthier immune system. Now, on top of that, for a lot of people, we still want to think about supporting immunity. And there's simple ways of achieving that. And a lot of us have already heard about the benefits of vitamin C for supporting immunity. And to me, my go-to from a support on this level is always the liposomal C. And that's important because the liposomal C really has that level of a higher bioavailability rather than just taking traditional oral vitamin C. Because you see, this includes sunflower lecithin and MCT oil to really help make this what we would consider a part of a liposomal technology that makes it easier for the vitamin C to get past the cell membrane, to get past the mucosal lining into your blood and into your cell. And why I'm talking about immunity as also tied into what's going on with the overall subject, as I said, there's a definite connection between your gut health and your immune health. But then the other aspect, let's remember, as I mentioned earlier, when you're sleeping is when your body has its highest immune system response of the day. And that's also when your body is doing a lot of what we're talking about from a natural detoxification standpoint. So when we have this subject of talking about supporting environmental health as well as supporting your colon health and immunity, they're all interconnected and they all feed off of each other. And your vitamin C is a simple way of just really supporting not only your immunity, but obviously supporting another level of a healthy antioxidant, which so every once in a while somebody asks me, like, who needs to take antioxidants? And I usually will just say, well, if you're a human being and you're on this planet, you probably need antioxidants because the simple fact is that the environment that we live in, with the air we breathe, the chemicals we're exposed to, the toxins that may be in the water that we're drinking if it's unfiltered, and the list goes on. There's a lot of free radical activity and oxidative stress going on in all of our bodies, which is every day why I take multiple different antioxidants, one of them being liposomal vitamin C. Now, the other important factor with immunity and support from that level is with vitamin D3. And what's interesting too is vitamin D3 really isn't even, it's not even a vitamin, it's what we call it. It's really a hormone. And it's a hormone that is essential for healthy immune system function. So if you really are looking to support immunity, you want to have what we would consider healthy vitamin D3 levels as well. And this is another product that enjoys the benefit of the sunflower lecithin and the MCT oil to create this liposomal product that, again, makes it a higher bioavailability potential of getting through the mucosal lining of the gut, getting into the blood, and a higher potential of getting through the cell membrane. And this is an important factor for so many people. And a lot of people, that don't get adequate sun exposure, which is honestly most people, because if you think about sun exposure, most people aren't getting sun exposure every day. And even if they are, a lot of times it's seasonal. So there might be a whole season where you don't get any sun exposure. Or when you do get out in the sun, most of your body's skin is covered. So you're still not really getting the benefit of the sun exposure with the clothes on. So it ends up being something that is very important for most people. And the liposomal vitamin D, because of that liposomal technology, goes a long way, once again, at getting across the mucosal lining into your blood and then through the cell membrane and get into your cell. It's another important factor of what's going on from an immune perspective. And then I want to just be clear because when we're talking about supplements, there's maybe some people might be on a budget for what they're doing from a supplement perspective, or they get, some people get a little overwhelmed with how many pills or capsules they're taking on a regular basis. So I always like to bring up also the vitamin C pack. You see, because a vitamin C pack provides you with really three essential immune supporting nutrients: the vitamin C, which we talked about, the vitamin D3, and then also zinc, which plays another important role in supporting immunity. And interestingly enough, it's recognized that about 33% of our culture is deficient in zinc. So it's a relatively common deficiency as well. Now, with the vitamin C pack, this is all in one convenient packet that you just mix with water, and which is quite tasty. It's got a citrusy type of flavor to it, zero sugar, while still enjoying a great taste. It easily dissolves into water. It really creates this like refreshing fizzy drink, and it has fast acting absorption. Now, the vitamin C in here is not liposomal, and it is actually a very high absorbing form of vitamin C. It's just not as absorbable as the liposomal C. You still get the D3 that you're looking for, and you get the benefits of the zinc all in one simple, easy to use little packet that you just, again, mixed in water. Now, it comes lightly sweetened with an organic stevia, and it really does offer like that orange citrusy flavor with 0 grams of total sugars as well. And this typically offers a cost-effective way to get these different nutrients, and provides you an option of taking less pills and getting everything in there a little bit easier for yourself. So just a little bit of review, and then we'll get into some questions. So I really want to, this is also important, so I want to go through this just very quickly. You definitely want to make sure that you're taking care of your fundamentals of health, because setting up your fundamentals of health is the underlying foundation of all the benefits you'll get from your supplements. You definitely want to support natural detoxification, in your body. And this is, again, something I do on a daily basis, because I know the environment that we live in. And I know that if I don't naturally support it, I'm going to be a little bit behind the eight ball as far as achieving this on a regular basis. And I'll even give you some other notes to put on your notepad in front of you. Is other things that you can help to support this is, remember, making sure you're drinking adequate amounts of water. You want to make sure you're moving your colon on a regular basis. You could also do daily skin brushing, which helps both your lymphatic system, your skin, and your kidneys. And you can also do simple things like taking maybe a 20-minute Epsom salt bath a couple times a week. Like, just throw 2 cups of Epsom salts in a hot bath and sit in that for 20 minutes and help support detoxification on a normal perspective. And then also remember, when you're moving your body, that's all supportive as well. And you can achieve all this with chlorella, NAC with milk thistle, and then also the grass-fed beef organ complex. Now, to reiterate on the colon support, let's recognize that your colon, and really the entirety of your gastrointestinal system, is one of the key components for overall health. And it's tied into not only your colon, but also immunity and even brain health. Now, to do this, remember that you minimally want to support healthy microbiome with your complete probiotic. And if you're somebody who, if you feel like, and obviously this is the acronym, the acronym that I'm using, or the comparison I'm using, is if you feel like the soil maybe needs to be a little bit healthier, you might need the spore restore to really address what's you benefited by the soil-based organisms and the mycelium of those 3 mushrooms. And for somebody who has a much deeper challenge in their gastrointestinal tract, the trifecta of using all 3 of these together. And as I mentioned, the best way to use these is a complete probiotic in the morning when you wake up, a spore restore before you go to bed, and then a complete afterbiotic before dinner. And if you're specifically looking to support optimal digestion and that bowel regularity while also enjoying the other benefits, You can add the biothin probiotic. And remember, though, this is not a standalone probiotic for your microbiome. That would still be the complete probiotic. And then you would add this. And the one thing that's different with the biothin probiotic, you take this before the meal of the day that has your highest carbohydrate consumption. So you can also enjoy the healthy glucose sensitivity and glucose level benefit of this as well. And then with your immune support, some things that you probably already know that is just a reminder for you. Liposomal vitamin C, something that has the provides a higher bioavailability than traditional oral vitamin C. The D3 also in a liposomal form for that higher bioavailable potential. And then also for those who want the ease of the pack and to really kind of condense what you're doing from a supplement perspective, the vitamin C pack does provide vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc as well. Yeah, so with that said, I first want to thank all of you, whether you're on here live right now or if you're watching this replay from Marlene's. A special thank you from myself personally. A thank you from Dr. Mercola and the entire team at Dr. Mercola's, and also with Marlene's, and a special congratulations to them for their 48th anniversary, which is very exciting. And with that, let's get into any questions that may have come up as we've gone through this. And also feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions if you have live as well. So let me go through and Elizabeth, were there any questions that you've noticed as we're going through this that you feel need to be addressed right away?
I didn't see any, but one of our attendees said, "Great information, thank you."
Okay.
And then and then someone else said, "Thank you for the great presentation. It was very educational."
Oh, awesome. Well, you're very welcome. And it's hopefully there are tips that you can all really incorporate in your life. These are three of the most important aspects of health for all of us. As I mentioned, we're all exposed to toxins every day. We have to really support healthy detoxification. Our colon and overall gut health is primary across the board, and really immunity. And one thing I didn't mention about immunity is most people think of immunity as to whether you get sick or not. Yeah, but the other thing that's really important with immunity, that's how our body maintains and repairs itself on a daily basis. So all of these are very important. And I know, thank you for everybody with all the accolades. Somebody said a lot of great info. Thank you. Thank you for the great presentation. And please remember for all of you, the importance of focusing on your fundamentals. The combination of strong fundamentals and really quality supplementation are really a game changer for most people in their life. And again, as Dr. McCullough always says, taking control of your health.
Thank you so much, Dr. Debke. Fabulous
You're welcome.
as always. I just love your analogy of the foundation because you can't build a good house or structure without it. So
Right?
or else it'll just all come crumbling down. But then that's why you gotta take control of your health. Just like
I love it. I love it. Yes, and thank you everybody who was in attendance. I really appreciate you, and it's hopefully you can do some things to really make a difference in your health and in your life.
thank you so much.
Take